But how many people thought this project was dead? Anybody want to raise your hands? Okay, I see a few people out there. Thank you for your honesty.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Angelica Bonilla here. Today I'm here with Laura. Hi, Laura.
Hi, my HD family.
Okay, so I'm here with Laura. We're actually going to go to Barstow College here in Barstow because I want to give you an update on the Barstow International Gateway, the big, okay, right there, Barstow International Gateway, big project that's being proposed here in Barstow. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, and I called the city of Barstow and I was asking more questions, and today they're actually meeting in Barstow College and they're gonna discuss what's happening, what's the updates with the big project that's happening here in Barstow. So the Barstow International Gateway. So they're gonna have like a meeting, community meeting at the Barstow College. So that's where I'm going. If they let me film in there, I'm gonna try to put it on camera, whatever I can put on camera. And I wanna give you a full update of what's happening with, can you let me in? With the project, okay? So now, Barstow, okay, if you don't know about the Barstow International Gateway project, okay, the thing is that if you come down to Barstow on Linwood Road, I'm gonna put a map here, okay? I'm gonna put a map here of where they're talking about, where they're gonna, this project, this railroad project is going to be. I'll put it right here. And I want you to take a look at the area, okay? Because if you come down to Barstow, the city of Barstow is they're already taking down the houses, okay? And that's why I don't see anybody talking about what's going on up here in the news. So I kind of figured, hey, I want to be the one to bring you this information so that way you're better informed, because I always get this question, like what kind of job am I going to get in Barstow? Okay, so you know that if that project comes into the city of Barstow, that's going to provide a lot of jobs. For the city of Barstow. Okay, right now the city of Barstow, the homes are very affordable. I mean, if you think $290, because I think that's kind of up there, okay, for the city of Barstow, homes are selling for about $290, $300, I mean $400 if you want a really nice home. But I can just see the prices of the homes going up even more, okay? But yeah, like I was saying, I just don't feel like a lot of people are talking about this project, because I know they always say, oh no, it's not going to happen anymore. Yeah guys, so let's see what happens. Let's see what kind of update I can give you if they let me film, okay, the meeting. I mean, it's a public meeting, so I wouldn't see why not. But okay, if they tell me I cannot record the meeting, I'm still gonna come on here and give you an update. Look at the mountains. All right, so we're at the Barstow Community College. Where is it?
just give you an update of where we're at, what we've been working on. Kind of want to see a show of hands. It's a good way to stretch your arms, make sure you're still, kicking out there. But how many people thought this project was dead? Anybody want to raise your hands? Okay, I see a few people out there. Thank you for your honesty. I'm here to tell you that this project is not dead. We are still, we are still working really hard to make sure that we bring this project forward. I'm a believer in this. I know, it's 28 and a half years here at BNSF, so that math's not really working out. But I told my daughter, I'll watch them on the weekends, but I'm staying for now because I believe in what we're doing here. I want to see this project happen. It is probably the most exciting project I have ever worked on. So I'm committed to staying, and I hope you're all committed to staying with us as we work through all of the processes. So let me just start out, because I know there's some people in here. Some of you have already heard the project details. I'm going to take a couple of minutes for those of you who are new, who maybe don't know as much about our project, and give you a little bit of insight about who we are as a company and what the project is about. So we're owned by Berkshire Hathaway. We have about 37,000 employees that work for BNSF across 28 states and 3 Canadian provinces. About 1,000 of those people work right here in Barstow. And we are planning to grow that significantly, and we'll get into more of that when we talk about big. We move about 1,200 trains a day, which, as you could imagine, that takes a lot of people and a lot of coordination to get from point A to point B and ultimately on the shelf. So those people work really hard to make sure that they deliver. And we move about 10 million units per year. Again, as you heard me in the opening, we're seeing record volumes, so a lot is coming in through the ports, and so you most likely are seeing some increased movement through the area as we handle those record volumes. Let's see if I can get this without. So a little bit about how goods move from the ports of LA and Long Beach. So container ships come in, they're offloaded at the docks, and they are either loaded right on the dock, and then a truck picks them up, and it takes that container, a 40-foot container, it takes them to somewhere in the Inland Empire or the LA Basin. They'll go to a warehouse, and they'll take the contents of that container, they'll break it apart, they'll repackage it into a 53-foot container, and then they will either take it by truck across the country to someplace like Chicago, Kansas, Texas, or it may be put on a rail car. Often that rail car is in Los Angeles, so they'll truck it to San Bernardino, Ontario, Fontana, Paris, and then they'll transload it, and then a truck will pick it up and take it right back down to our Los Angeles facility, where it will come right back through the area, up the Cajon Pass, through Barstow to destinations across the country. Or a truck will pick it up at one of those Inland Empire warehouses, it'll come onto the 15 freeway, be trucked across the United States to the interior of the country. There are some containers that are loaded directly onto rail at the ports of LA and Long Beach, but the vast majority of them are taken to a warehouse where they're transloaded. We think that there's a lot of inefficiencies with the way that things are currently moving today. There are opportunities to do it better. And so those containers that are moving by truck from the Inland Empire can be loaded directly on at the ports of LA and Long Beach and come right through this area, be offloaded in Barstow, where we will work to transload them and process them there. That is where the new facility comes into play. It's called the Barstow International Gateway, or BIG, as we like to refer to it. And I think the name is so appropriate to call it BIG because it sits on over 4,500 acres. There is no facility in the entire world like BIG. It's obviously going to bring a lot of economic impact, benefits to the area, a lot of jobs, and so we'll get into more of that in just a moment.
More than 30%.
Just go right to the video. I'm sorry, I always jump ahead. You can never trust me with one of these little clickers. So we'll get right to the video. It's a brand new video. You haven't seen it yet. But it just explains a little bit about what the facility will do, and then we'll get more into the benefits of the project. I'm sorry, if I had popcorn, I'd pass it out, but I don't, so enjoy the video.
More than 30% of the international containers brought into the U.S. arrives through the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. With this continuous flow of traffic and increasing demand at the ports and in the Inland Empire, there is an opportunity to create new jobs in the high desert, improve efficiency, and increase sustainability. The BNSF Railway Barstow International Gateway, or BIG, offers an opportunity to move cargo directly from the ports to its destination quickly and safely. With BIG, international containers will be loaded from ships onto BNSF trains to Barstow, located approximately 130 miles from the ports, instead of being trucked. Containers will arrive at the state-of-the-art facility to be processed, where there will be more than 500,000 feet of track space and on-site warehouses. With sufficient capacity, the incoming containers from the ports will be transferred by hybrid electric cranes directly onto a waiting chassis within the facility. The containers will be transported through the facility via battery electric hostlers into the logistics park section of the facility, where they will ultimately be transloaded in the millions of available square feet of on-site integrated warehouses into domestic containers in preparation for further rail movement across North America. The domestic containers will then be positioned for an outbound train to destinations across our network, and the empty international containers will be returned back via train to the ports. While these domestic containers are being built into outbound trains, international containers for lower density markets are also simultaneously being brought into the switching yard in preparation for outbound trains as well, ultimately allowing for denser trains entering the network. With these denser trains comes more efficiency and consistency to getting freight on time to its destination. As the containers move east, they will enter the rest of the BNSF network, supporting Southern California's ports, the local and national supply chain, and the economy. More than 30%.
Thank you for the applause. I appreciate it. It was so good, I was going to play it again. So, let's get into a little bit of the benefits. So, from an economic standpoint, it's going to bring thousands of jobs to this area. We estimate about 20,000 direct and indirect jobs. That does not include the construction jobs. The construction jobs are going to be about 3,000 to 4,000 a year. As you can see, all of our union partners that are here today, we did sign a project labor agreement to build this project. I think they're going to need a lot more help. So if you know people that need a job, get with your unions because they're certainly going to need people as we work to build this facility. We know that those people are going to come from all over the high desert, and I think a lot of people are pretty excited to be able to stay and work right here in the high desert versus driving down the Cajon Pass to destinations within the Inland Empire and LA to work. So we're super excited about the direct and indirect jobs that it will bring to the area. Again, you heard about the more efficient way to move cargo. Again, there's a lot of inefficiencies that add a lot of truck movements on the highway. And please don't get me wrong, I am in no way against our trucking companies. They are some of our biggest customers, our biggest partners. So it's really important for us to continue to work closely, but there are ways to reduce some of those movements and move more by rail, and for the short haul, let the truck drivers do that portion of it. And then hopefully we avoid some of the conflicts that we had during COVID when you saw a supply chain meltdown. This allows us a facility of obviously significant size to be able to pull trains into and reduce some of the trains that may be holding on our main line. And then, again, reducing some of the truck movements. We don't have the numbers yet. We're still working through our EIR process. I mean, I'll get into a little bit of that in the next slide or two about what that entails. But certainly it is a staggering number of truck movements that will be taken off of our local highways. We did move it away from the densely populated area. That's why Barstow was obviously so attractive for us as a possible location for the facility. We were able to acquire the property needed for a project of this size, and it was adjacent to our main line. I think in addition, we have long seen Barstow as a place where we knew we were going to grow. And many of you have heard me tell this story before, but we've been asked for many, many years to build a project here in Barstow. I don't know that anybody ever imagined that it would be the biggest facility in the entire world when they came to us and asked us that. And we always knew one day we would do something. But this, I think, surpassed what anybody had even imagined at the time. So I'm super excited to still be here and be working on a project of this magnitude. And then, of course, providing all the jobs closer to home. And I would say, too, when it comes to the jobs, obviously the trades are going to need a lot of people to work on this project. Welders, plumbers, carpenters. We're going to need a lot of people, but we also need people to work at our rail facility. And we have job openings that you can apply for now versus waiting until the facility opens. So if you have you yourself or you have a family member or a friend that's looking for a job, go to bnsf.com to our career section, and every week look to see what's open and available. You don't have to wait until this facility is completed before you apply for a job with us. We'd love to have you sooner than that. So let's talk a little bit about the CARB in-use locomotive rule. I think it was a big shock to everybody when we came out and said this project was in jeopardy because of CARB's in-use locomotive rule. And I'll give you just a little bit of a highlight of what that rule says. Basically, in 2023, the California Air Resources Board passed a regulation that said by 2026, the railroads, the class 1, so that would be us and the Union Pacific, would need to put in about $800 million per year into a fund to acquire zero emission technology. That is a staggering amount of money. It represents about a third of what our capital expenditure is across our entire network, which again is 28 states and 3 Canadian provinces. They also said by 2030 that any locomotive that was older than 23 years could not operate in the state. So you think 23 years old may sound old. Now that I'm a grandma, it doesn't sound so old anymore, it sounds pretty young. But even if that locomotive has a brand new engine in it, it still couldn't operate in the state. So that, because the body of it is 23 years old. And then by 2035, we have to have zero emission, so electric locomotives, which are not yet commercially viable. So this certainly put us in a little bit of a limbo. You heard Colin talk about the CEQA process. We have to analyze what equipment we're going to use at this facility and what impacts it will have. It's very difficult to analyze equipment that does not yet exist. So we certainly asked all of you to push back, and boy, did you push back. I will tell you that I think it took everybody, including our top tier management, by surprise at the amount of support that came out to push back against CARB. There were thousands and thousands of letters that went into the Environmental Protection Agency. So, hey, if you're in here, give yourself a great hand, because I will tell you, you did a great, great job. I also have to tell you that Congressman Obernolte has been just a true champion in pushing back on this regulation. I cannot thank him enough for the work that he's done and how he's fighting for the people right here in Barstow and for this project. And I would also say the same for Supervisor Dawn Rao. She testified at the EPA hearing. The county wrote a letter to push back as well. She's also been a true champion and really working hard to push back and help to bring this project forward. So our fight is not over yet. I will tell you that what we're waiting for is the EPA has to make a determination, because CARB can't just put this rule into place without getting a waiver from the Environmental Protection Agency. And so the EPA is currently, they took all the testimony, all the letters that were submitted, and they are going through and going to make a decision on that, whether or not they give California a waiver to implement this rule. We are waiting on pins and needles. We still have not heard. We had hoped to have a decision by now, but we still do not have that decision. Does it happen after the election? Perhaps, but we just don't have a timeline yet as to when they will come out with that decision. I will tell you that we are very optimistic. We feel like just the amount of support that's come in at the federal, the state, the local level, that we've made a huge dent, and everybody stood up and paid attention like, hey, these are all of these people that are pushing back have something to lose here. This is an opportunity for us to do something really great here in Barstow and bring a lot of great jobs and economic vitality to not only Barstow, but the entire high desert region, as well as the state of California and the nation's supply chain. And so I will tell you, as a result of a lot of the pushback that's happened, we've seen congressional members in other states also start to push back and question what CARB is doing. Does that mean we get a free pass and we still, as a company, as a corporation, don't have to do what's right by our communities? Absolutely not. And that's why we're working to test battery electric locomotives. We have put in an order. We actually put that in a couple of years ago, and the manufacturers are bringing newer equipment here and improve the air quality for everybody in this region and in the state of California. So thank you to the Mojave Air District as well for working with us to bring that on. So again, I just want to say thank you. Don't give up. We're going to continue this fight, and I hope that we have an answer by the end of this year on where EPA is on the waiver. So the current project status. You may think, okay, I haven't heard from you guys. I don't know what you're doing. I will tell you, when you have to go through CEQA, it is quite the novel. It is, I would say the document will be thousands and thousands of pages, most likely well over 20,000 pages, as we have to evaluate a number of different things in that document. Air quality, traffic impacts, the list goes on and on. So I will tell you some of the things that we have been working on, just to give you a sense that, there is so many people, not only here in the state of California, still currently working on this project, but people across our network who are also working on it, in addition to multiple consultants who have also been hired to help work through this significant process of CEQA. So we have been working on the engineering design for the project. That's well underway. That looks at grading on the property, utilities, roadway, the rail infrastructure. We've been coordinating with the San Bernardino County on a new design for the Hinckley Road Bridge replacement. So some of you may not know this, but I'll let you know that tonight that the Hinckley Road currently is an at-grade crossing, and it's on a blind curve. So if you've ever stopped at that crossing, you have to be, you look both ways because there could be an oncoming train coming. As part of this project, the Hinckley Road crossing will be eliminated. And what we'll do is we'll build a brand new bridge over the Mojave River. For some of you that live in that area, that. So we're going to be working to improve the Linwood channel. So that, I think that's also a major benefit to the area. Ongoing coordination with Edison. Let me tell you, that's a process because we have 4,500 plus acres out there, and we're trying to get power to the site. And our existing, just to put that into the proper context, our existing facility uses about 1 megawatt of electricity. The new facility will use about 66 megawatts, so considerably more than what we're currently using at our current facility. And that's because of the electric hostlers that we'll use for to move containers in and around the yard that are zero emission. That will be for the cranes, it will be for the warehouses. So, as you know, the state's really been pushing for zero emission technology, so there's a lot of demand for that energy. So we're working really closely with Edison to try to get the needed infrastructure to that site. So that is a process and one I think that we're making some headway on. And then we're having multiple meetings with the Army Corps of Engineers, the Water Board, wildlife agencies, because we have to work through the permits for this project. So a lot of meetings that are ongoing with them. And then of course, as you heard Colin talk about the city's general plan, we've been working really closely with them as they're working on their general plan. I think something that was really important to us is we really wanted to see housing on the east end of town, industrial development on the west end of town, to really try to separate that and not have any of the conflicts that are associated with a house going up right up next to us. So a lot of work is going on. I just want to assure you that we don't have our feet up. I wish I was sitting in my office with my feet up sometimes, but that is not the case. This is literally, we have people that are working on this project nonstop. We continue to invest. That's obviously a significant investment, not only because of the land that we've acquired, but the sheer number of people that we have working on this project. I hope gives all of you a little bit of assurance that we are fully committed to this project. We are still moving forward. The EPA waiver is something that still hangs out there, but again, I'm optimistic we're gonna win that, and don't let up on that. If you see your elected officials, please let your voice be known that this is really important, because I think collectively between all of us, we're gonna get this project across the finish line. I truly believe that. So here's where we're at currently in the process. You know, in February, we announced the notice of preparation. Many of you attended the scoping meeting, so I know there was well over 200 people that attended the scoping meeting to learn more about the city's general plan, also to hear about the project, raise some of your concerns and issues, and that gives us an opportunity to take a look at all of those things. So where we're at now is we're working on the draft EIR. That thousands and thousands of page draft EIR does take some time to produce, and so we hope to have that out here in the middle of 2025, starting to lose my years, 2025, and then it'll give you all a chance to look at it and to weigh in, and what do you like, what do you don't like, what needs to be improved, and to offer your input in there. And then from there, they will take all of those comments, and then they will come out with a final EIR for all of you to look at. And that's also an opportunity then where your city council will vote on the project, either yes or no, we want this for our city, or we do not. I'm hoping that you want this for your city and that you see the benefits that it's gonna bring, and it will be a unanimous vote there. And then, once that decision has been made by your city council, we hope to start construction immediately. As I said, we would turn dirt today if we could. We'd have everybody rolling in and putting all those orange vests to work right now if we could, but again, we need that final vote. And once that final vote comes in, we'll start to turn dirt, which will be about 2026. From there, it's about a 3-year process, so the plan is to open the facility in 2028.
Wow.
I think that's about the end of the presentation. Obviously, there's so much more to talk about. I am going to be out in the front. If you have questions, come and talk to me. You have concerns, come and talk to me, because I've said this before. We want to know about them up front versus at the end of this when it comes before the city council to vote. If there's anything that you're troubled by, come and see me, and at least let's have that conversation. I may not be able to fix everything, but I'm definitely your representative here to try to work with you and resolve some of those concerns. And then if you don't have a question tonight, but something comes up later, many of you have my contact information. We also have a website. It's the BNSF Big website. Feel free to go on, sign up for updates, stay connected with us. My information is on there. If you want to send me an email, if you have a question, don't hesitate to do that. I'm definitely here to try to help in any way that I can. So again, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you that showed up tonight. I know it's a sacrifice to take time away from your personal life, but it really does show how important this is to this community. And I am so grateful for all of you and for all the opportunities that I've had to speak with many of you. So again, thank you for being here.
So I want to thank everybody for being here on the ongoing efforts to support our community. As Ms. Kent said, I know Thursday night football is going on, so hopefully somebody's got an update on the score. So as we conclude our program today, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you guys for attending and engaging with us. The college for opening their doors to such a beautiful venue. Your involvement is critical in the community's success. And please encourage everyone to complete the sign-in sheet or use the Dropbox. Please feel free to head to the lobby and continue conversations with one another. The City of Barstow, Rao's office, Grove's office, Overnilty's office, Placeworks, BNSF, the real estate team, and we look forward to seeing you at the next meeting and the growth of this city. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.
Everybody's here. We got the union here.
Yeah, they're bringing all these jobs to Barstow. It's still not dead, okay, the whole project. And that's why I wanted to come in. Laura's here, okay.
Hi, guys.
And Laura was parking the car. Yeah, so we came out to the Barstow College, and I wanted to give you all of, like, a breakdown and all the information that you need about the big program, okay, about the Barstow International Gateway program that's gonna happen here in Barstow. Okay, they're still waiting for a final okay, do it, but they're saying that the project is still not dead, that it's still gonna move forward. They're still working on it. And okay, guys, I want to actually do in my next video with the update on the project. I'm gonna go show you the location of where this project is going to be here in Barstow. Okay, so you can start seeing what's happening there. I'm not going to tell you a lot right now, but I want you to see what's happening in that project, in that area where this project's going to be located. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to be coming maybe this month. Okay, I'm going to work on it to give you that information. So yeah, so I know a lot of people are like, oh, there's no jobs in Barstow. You heard it here. She's saying go apply on the website. If you are looking for a job, you're local here in the high desert. Even if you don't live here in Barstow, you live in Victorville, anywhere here in the high desert, go ahead and apply online. See if you can get onto their union. They said they already have a union set, ready to go. So man, they're gonna have a lot of jobs. So make sure you look into that information, because imagine if you can get a job with the company and then start the project. They're saying they want the project to be done by 2028. Imagine that. That's going to be amazing. I mean, that's just going to bring in a lot of jobs to Barstow, and I know these property values are going to go up, I'm telling you. Okay, but that's why I wanted to bring you this information and this video. Okay, Laura, say bye. There's Laura.
Hi, HD family.
Bye. Okay. Until the next update. Okay, we'll bring it to you. Bye, guys.